kiddos, today we're going to look at perfect squares and perfect cubes. So we're starting in on all of our exponents and our roots this week. So for example, this first one, 3 to the 4th power. The 3 is actually called your base. The 4 is your exponent. So what that means is you're going to multiply 3 4 times. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 for a total of 81. Now to read these, on the other side, we have x squared, or x to the 2nd power. That's meaning any number to the 2nd power. The same thing for the bottom one. Y to the 3rd power is really red. Y cubed. It's any number to the 3rd power. Now, there are some perfect squares and perfect cubes that you're going to be responsible for knowing. So the perfect squares relate to the area of a square. So you have to think about that as side squared, like you learned several years ago. So right here, I have 1 squared through 20 squared written out for you. 1 squared means 1 times 1. 2 squared means 2 times 2. 3 squared is 3 times 3. And what it is showing is these side lengths on my square, it's a 1 by 1 square. 1 times 1 gives me 1 square. Right here, 2 squares and 2 squares, 2 times 2 gives me 4 squares. The same on 3. 3 squares by 3 squares gives me 9 total squares. So then we just keep working through. 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, 8 squared is 64, 9 squared is 81, 10 squared is 100, 11 squared 121, 12 squared 144, 13 squared 169, 14 squared 196, 15 squared 225, and then you go back up to the top a little bit and you can see 16 through 20. 16 squared is 256, 17 squared is 289, 18 squared is 324, 19 squared is 361, and 20 squared is 400. So those are all of your squares. It's any number times itself. Perfect cubes, you have to think about, it relates to the volume of a cube. So to find volume of a cube, technically the formula is side squared. You would have probably learned it as length times width times height. Again, that's 3 numbers in a cube, they would all be the same. So 1 cubed is 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 3 cubed, 3 times 3 to get 27. And then we're going to keep going through 10. 4 cubed is 64. 5 cubed is 125. 6 cubed is 216. 7 cubed, 343. 8 cubed, 512. 9 cubed, 729. And 10 cubed would be 1000. So these are our perfect squares and our perfect cubes. And we'll come back to these later in the week as we look at square roots and cube roots as well.